Custom dagger build part 3. Got the Holosun 407C optic mounted. Let's see how she does. I love a red dot on my pistols. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical and episode 3 of the PSA Dagger build series, or what I'm calling Gucci Glock on a budget build. We've done many build series on this channel, starting with the M&P 2.0 build, built out the Aero Precision EPC 9, the 300 Blackout build, and most recently we're doing a Gen 3 Glock 19 clone. This is a PSA Dagger at heart. I'm changing a lot of things out on it. This week, we got an optic. So the episode 1 is we got the frame to this thing. Episode 2 was the SWR slide with the cuts in it and the titanium nitride threaded barrel. And today, we've got a Holosun 407C on here. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and let's get started. So it's 8 degrees out here today, which I always kind of love going and shooting in conditions like that because it's a good test to see if your firearm will run in the cold. So far, it's running great. This is the custom Palmetto State Armory Dagger with the titanium nitride threaded barrel, slide cuts, and now the Holosun 407C. I like it. So, as you can see, the PSA Dagger runs great, as it should. It's a clone of a Gen 3 Glock 19, and Glocks are known for being reliable. So there is no reason that this shouldn't be just as reliable, being that it is designed after that pistol, uses the same parts as a Gen 3 Glock. The cool thing about the Dagger is you can get a very custom Glock for not a whole lot of money. So in episode 2, I showed that for less than $500, I built out the basic gun. I had the frame was 99 bucks, came with this soft case, which was really nice. And then for like 320 bucks, got the slide with slide cuts in it, all that, with the gator mouth, RMR cut, and a titanium nitride coated threaded barrel. So for less than $500 all in, I already had a custom Glock. Well, because of course it was RMR cut, Holosun 407 and 507C optics use the RMR footprint. And 407C is the little bit more affordable of the two. The only difference being that it just has a 2 MOA dot instead of a multi-reticle system. Other than that, it has all the same features, and I was perfectly fine with just the dot on a handgun type platform. I've got a 407K on my Smith & Wesson MP 2.0. It's got a 6 MOA dot, and I'm very happy with that. So, figured to save a couple bucks and get the 407C versus the 507C. Let's talk about it. This optic, it's awesome. I've always wanted a custom Gucci Glock 19. Gucci Glock on a budget. Runs good. So here we can see the Dagger build so far. It is starting to look very good. I love optics on my pistols. I just think having a red dot gives you just that much more capability. So check out that 2 MOA dot, very crisp and clear. I love Holosun optics specifically for that reason. The reticles are very crisp, very clear, like I said. With this dagger, it came with suppressor height sights, so you can co-witness through the optic very, very easily. And they're the perfect kind of sights to have on an optic gun, being that they're just black. And so there's nothing to distract you from the dot itself. Now, this red dot comes in a configuration or a mode, we should say, where it uses the solar panels on top to adjust the dot brightness according to the ambient light around you. Well, I don't really like that. I think it's a cool feature maybe for some people. I like to be able to manually adjust it, so I changed it to that setting before I even took it out shooting for the first time. Mainly because I run lights on most of my guns, and this gun will get a light, and it doesn't pick up the light in front of the light. And so if you're in a dark room running a light, you're not going to see your reticle. So it's important to me to be able to change that manually. Luckily with this optic, you can definitely do that. So those 3 modes that it has are the auto that I was talking about, manual, and then you also have a lockout mode you could change it to where you could set your brightness and then lock it so you can't accidentally hit a button and change that. It's got these solar panels on top. That also helps for if your batteries are dying. But with that, you have the side battery tray, and so you don't have to remove your optic to change your battery. That's another thing that is very important to me. And you get a 50,000 hour runtime on setting 6. Now, I think generally I'm probably running it on setting 7, maybe 8 if I'm in the outdoors bright. Actually, I think it is on 6 right now. But you get a lot of runtime with that battery. It's pretty sweet. It uses a CR1632 battery. It's got motion sensing, and that is one of the biggest things to me is the shake awake. So this optic turns off after a certain amount of time of no use. As soon as you touch it, senses any vibration, movement, it is on immediately. So you don't have to worry about turning your optic on when you need to use it. That reticle is always going to be on as long as you change your battery at some kind of regular interval, once every year, once every 2 years. Technically, it should last almost up to 5 years, but just change it before it dies and you'll be good to go. It's got 10 daylight settings and 2 night vision settings. Now, I don't have night vision, but it's cool to know that I could run it that way if I wanted to. It's made out of 7075 T6 aluminum, so it is very rugged. And in fact, recently, I accidentally did a drop test with this Holosun optic. When I say accidentally, I dropped my gun, and it maintained 0 and kept working just fine. This is made out of the same stuff. Holosun optics are very rugged, and I love them for that. I like the push buttons, and it's IPX7 waterproof, and of course, being that it's a red dot, it is parallax free, or as parallax free as an optic possibly can be. It's also got a very nice big window. So I've got the 407K here just to compare, and I've been using the 407K on my M&P 2.0 for a long time. I chose that optic because of its low deck height so that I could co-witness the standard iron sights through it, and it does that great. I've been very happy with it. This one, being that I already had suppressor height sights, I figured I'd get the bigger optic, and I do really like having that bigger window. As long as you practice drawing and presenting all the time, you're not going to ever really have a problem finding your red dot, but having that big window makes it that much easier. It just gives you a really nice field of view. You can see also here the difference between a 6 MOA dot on the left versus a 2 MOA dot on the right. Now, a 2 MOA dot, if you really want to see it more, you could turn it up. It'll kind of bloom a little bit, which I don't really want it to bloom. You know, I like that crisp, clear dot. But you can make it a little brighter if you need to, but it's very precise also if you need to. A 6 MOA dot might not be as precise, but it sure is quick and easy to pick up in a defensive situation. So I think that there's pros and cons to each, and I haven't actually decided which one I like better just yet. But I am very happy with this 407C on this type of gun. I think it looks great. I ran it with the Optic today. I just love red dots on pistols. I think iron sights are just fine, and everyone should know how to use them. But if you can have a red dot, why would you not have one? It just makes it so much easier. You can be threat focused. You don't have to line up any sights or anything. You just look at your target, place the dot over it, and pull the trigger. It's that simple and that easy. And I don't think I'm ever really going to buy a handgun again that isn't able to use an optic. Now, this one was not optics ready. I had to send the slide off to get milled, which was an added cost besides the optic itself. One of the nice things about the PSA Dagger is you can order an optics ready slide and it's not that expensive. Again, like I said, without the optic, this gun is less than $500 with a threaded barrel, suppressor height sights, optics cut, windows in the slide. It's a pretty amazing deal. And so I think anybody that wants to build out a custom Glock, this is a great way to go. So it is absolutely beautiful out here. I'm running PSA's AAC 115 grain full metal jacket ammo. I've been really happy with their ammo as well as their firearms. So I'm having a lot of fun with this build so far. Building ARs is a great time. I really enjoy it. But it's fun to just build a handgun. Especially just the fact that you could build out such a cool custom gun without, spending a fortune. I love Holosun optics. Obviously, got a 407K on here, a 512C on here. I think they make great optics, especially for the money. You really can't go wrong. They're super durable, super robust. They've got really clear dots, really clear reticles, side-mounted battery trays so that you don't have to re-zero your optic once you replace the battery. Great battery life. Shake awake. Shake awake is extremely important, I think. I will never buy a red dot without shake awake. In fact, because I'm so used to shake awake and all my red dots, I keep running the battery out of my LPVO because I leave the illumination on without thinking to turn it off. And that's the great thing about shake awake. You know that your reticle is going to work when you grab that optic. I think that if you have not tried red dots on your pistols yet, try it out. It'll change your life. Like, honestly, every gun that I get from now on that's a handgun is going to get a dot. Now, my 1911 doesn't have one. It's kind of a classic gun. I'm fine with that. I think my next pistol purchase is going to be a 2011, probably a Springfield Prodigy. Optics ready, it's going to get a dot. Dots just make it so much easier to shoot fast and accurate, be threat focused, and I absolutely love them. So stay tuned. Next week, I've got a new trigger coming for this, and the trigger on this is not that bad. It really isn't. It's got that kind of hinge design of the original M&P trigger. It's got a lot of take up, little bit of mush there, and a fairly crisp break. The reset is very positive. It's not bad by any means, but you know me, I love a good trigger. I've got a Timney trigger coming. I kind of wanted to wait and tell you guys that when I got it, but it should be here today actually. So next week we will have the Timney Alpha trigger installed in this thing, see how much of a difference that makes. Also got an extended slide release coming and of course a light for it. We're going to do a full build out of this pistol, make it everything that it should be, and I hope you guys are enjoying this build series. I'm really enjoying doing it. I'm going to put a link down below to Amazon. You can get this optic on Amazon. If you click my link, it gives the channel a little bit of a kickback. It's greatly appreciated. And I think that's probably the best price you can find it online anyway. So use my link if you can. I would love that. There's also going to be a link to my Patreon down below. I know I don't mention it in very many videos, but I should start doing that. Because if you can afford $1, $2, $5 a month to help the channel grow, that would be awesome. Please let me know what you think about Holosun optics. Tell me if you like this build series or not so far. I'd love to hear your opinions, good or bad. Drop me a like, share the video. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.